Welcome back to another video. I am currently balancing on my desk chair that decided to snap last night. Desperately need to order a new one because I spend far too many hours sat at this desk every single day, and I feel like it's just a matter of time before I fall on my ass while I'm sat on this. Yeah, it's very wobbly, but it's fine. I don't know how I'm feeling. It is week 4. It is SBD day of week 4. I am doing squat, bench and deadlift, primary session on all 3. And it's the last week 4 primary SBD until comp. So today's lifts will very much determine attempt selection for, or at least the plan going into comp for next block. So it's a somewhat important session. I'm in a pretty good mood though. I feel like, yeah, I've taken today off of work. So I've had a decent amount of sleep. I've been fairly productive this morning. Well, I say I've taken it off of work. I have some things in the pipeline that I am working on that I haven't really had time to do with all my other working that I'm doing. So I've been basically spending my morning playing around and trying to figure things out for my new venture, which I will hopefully be announcing in the next week. If I don't announce anything, it means it's probably gone terribly wrong and I've backed out of doing it. But basically, I'm feeling good. I am off to powering through in a little while. It is 11:15 now, so I'm gonna leave here around 12. I think the guys are getting there about 2ish. So yeah, gonna be going to powering through today. Very excited to train. I'm not overly excited for the drive. I think there's roadworks going on because last time I went it took me a slightly different route, and I think Max has said it's gonna do the same again today, which means it's gonna take slightly longer to get there, but it's still just under 2 hours. It'll be fine. I'm also there Sunday to referee at their comp, so that is lots of driving in 1 week considering I'm trying to not do much between now and comp, but it's fine. It's always good when I'm there, and I am excited to train today. My body feels decent, I think. Only thing that did freak me out a little bit was last night I went out for dinner. I don't know if Cosmos is like a thing over the country or not. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. They have all different styles of food and cuisines there. Basically, one of our friends is moving, I say moving, I think she's studying in Japan for a year. So that was like her leaving meal. So I didn't want to miss out on that because obviously I want to be there for that sort of thing. I don't want to miss out on social events for the sake of one heavy session. And so, yeah, I went to this restaurant last night and I was like, well, maybe I'll just eat before I go and I just won't eat when I'm there and I'll just sit and drink while everyone's like, drink my Diet Coke while everyone's eating. But I gave myself a bit of a talk and I was like, look, as long as you get most of your nutrients and stuff in throughout the day and you eat really well throughout the day, don't let yourself go out for this meal when you're too hungry, it will be fine. And it was, to be fair. I didn't overeat. I was pretty comfortable. The one thing I did have though that I definitely shouldn't have was they have a chocolate fountain and pretty much everyone just basically puts the bowl under the chocolate fountain. And so I did that and then I put ice cream in with it. So I just had like tons of melted chocolate and vanilla ice cream and it was delicious. But basically, I wouldn't normally eat off plan before a heavy session, but also this whole block's been a bit of a shambles anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And my body weight is dropping so quickly. I was 85.7 yesterday morning and that was at 6 in the morning. So if I'd have weighed in at 8 to half 8 like I normally would, depending on obviously what my schedule allows for, but for competition, I'm gonna be weighing in about 8, half 8 in the morning. I am fairly confident I would have been below 85.5 kilos. Like, my body weight has definitely been plummeting, so I don't feel like a little bit of a refeed last night is going to cause any issues. And during the day, like I said, I made sure to get tons of nutrients in. My fibre was hit before I even went out. My protein wasn't far off, and I mostly just had meats at this restaurant anyway. But yeah, the food quality isn't amazing. So basically, I was just worried that it was going to make me feel a little bit off, maybe affect my sleep last night, because, you know, when you have, like, some of their food is quite salty and stuff, and actually, I didn't drink enough when I was there. So when I got home, I was like severely dehydrated and I was just worried that all of that was going to play into my night's sleep and then how I felt this morning. But actually, sleep wasn't amazing because of my arm. I need to see someone about it. Like I think it's getting worse. But yeah, I need to see someone about my arm. But my sleep wasn't amazing because of that. It kept going numb again. But actually, because I didn't have to get up. I mean, I still got up in good time, but I didn't have to get up in good time. I feel pretty rested and I feel pretty fresh this morning. So yeah, I'm just kind of rambling. I need to finish getting ready. I need to have one more meal before I go, so that's what I'm now about to do. I'm just gonna have like a rice bowl. I've got some Mexican rice in the fridge that I'm gonna heat up with some pinto beans. Gonna put some the last of our leftover joint of pork on there. It's got some mango salsa to put on there. So yeah, just lots of carbs with some protein, tasty, good food, decent amount of fibre in the meal. And then I'm gonna drive, and then when I'm like 20 minutes, half an hour away, I'll eat my apple and I will start sipping on my Monster probably as I get there. I think I'm also training in my England singlet today. I'm only training in it if Lewis, who is also training there, is wearing his, because I will not be the only one in my English singlet because I feel like that's very embarrassing. But I'm going to take it. I'm also going to take another one just in case he doesn't wear his so I don't look stupid. But yeah, I'm going to probably train in my English singlet today. I wanted to wear my white Ivanka's shoes. I haven't actually trained in yet because they will look better with my singlet than my black. That's literally why I bought them. But I did get them on Vinted incredibly cheap. I wouldn't have paid full price just to match my singlet. But yeah, I'm also going to be deadlifting there, so I'm going to be putting talc on. And I don't want loads of white talc in my black shoes again because it's only just started to come out from the last time I did this. But I don't know where I've put my shoes. I don't know where I put my white Ivankas. I was sure that I brought them here, but I think they might still be at my parents'. The only other place they might be is the living room. Because we've still got boxes and stuff in most rooms, it's easy to lose things right now, and I'm not the best at keeping track of my stuff at the best of times. So yeah, anyway, gonna stop talking, gonna go make my food, and gonna get ready to head to powering through. Got very big numbers planned for today. I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous, but I know I don't need to be because I've got a plan to top double on squats, and I'm literally saying to myself, you hit 177.5 for 4 the other day, so you should 100% be able to hit this top double, even if it's hard work. And then I'm also like, well, what I'm loading for a top double is probably going to be more than I've ever even squatted for a single. So if I do the first rep and it feels terrible, I'll just stop at 1 rep and I'll just hit a new 1 rep max today. Like, either way, it's still progress. There's no point being mad. Bench, just going to kind of see how things go. I had my injections or like my vaccines for South Africa on Tuesday evening. And my arms are a little bit tender, but they're fine. I mean, I had 2 in one arm and 1 in the other arm because I wanted to even things out so that if my arms were heavy and achy, then at least it would be even, thinking that would be better for training. But then obviously sleeping on painful arms isn't great, but it's fine. My right arm's a little bit stiff still, but it's fine. It's very minor. I was more worried about if I had side effects like a headache or nausea or anything like that. But none of those, literally just the fact that my arm's been a bit sore. But yeah, so bench, top single, just gonna I'm not gonna push too much. I'm not aiming for anything crazy. I think with competition, I've basically said to myself, 110 to 112.5 would be a phenomenal day, massive confidence boost. And the thing is, if my lifts are pretty sandbagged at Commonwealth, then I know that when I do British 6 weeks later, I can hit a total PB. So I'm kind of trying to go in with that approach. But yeah, anyway, I said I was gonna stop talking, and I kept talking. So I'm actually going to stop talking and I'm going to go and make my little rice bowl, eat that, and then finish getting ready and head to Essex for my last heavy session. I say last heavy session, my last session like 4 days out will still be heavy, but this is like big heavy session. So yeah, I will see you when I'm there.
Go now, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
Siege.
Yeah, strong mate, come on.
Go.
Yep, good, come on, one more. Kind of son. Yep, yeah, push. So you start. Just finish the set.
I didn't mean I wanted to squat in silence.
Starts playing, stop, racket.
New 1 rep max.
New 1 rep max. 2. Fucking newbie games.
We head for the sky, it's alright. Our wings wouldn't fly, it's alright. If we are crashing down again. Pieces of love, it's alright. Scattered in mud, it's alright. You're giving me a lie again. And tell me what you want. This time I won't take it to the heart, 'cause I know we won't make it out. I've heard it all before. Yeah, tell me what you want. Let me hear that I'm the only one. You know that we won't make it out. We've heard it all before. It's alright. It's alright.
So it is Monday afternoon, it has just gone 1 p.m. I was gonna film this like session / block recap on Friday, but I'm gonna be completely honest, I felt so down after this session. So I drove home, and to be honest, even after I hit my squats, like immediately after, I was super happy, and then all of a sudden I just felt like my mood was just dropping and dropping. And like the drive home, I was on the phone to my friends, so that kind of distracted me from overthinking my session and stuff. But when I got home, I just didn't feel particularly happy, like, and I know that's stupid because before this session, I had never even loaded 187.5 for 1 rep on squats. When I planned this block out with this top double, I almost didn't pace for a 187 double. I almost just paced for a 185 double because I knew this block was going to be all over the place. I've been on holiday, I've been away, I've been basically away twice this block. My first week of the block was crammed into 4 sessions. I basically did a week and a half in the first week. And then, basically, if you've watched this series, you know, or like this last couple of weeks of videos, you'll know that this entire block was a bit of a shambles in terms of fitting things in. And I told myself, I was like, look, if you can get to a 187 double this block, in the least perfect circumstances that you've ever had with a training block, then you can do anything on comp block. Like, there's no reason for you to go into comp and not feel confident. So the fact that I hit a 187 double, and it moved pretty well, like I did like wobble a little bit on my second rep. I think I just hit the hole a little bit too hard and it threw my positioning off ever so slightly. But I just squatted, I squatted 187.5 for a double after never even loading it in the past. I failed 185 at my last comp 3 blocks before this. And yet I walked away and I wasn't overly happy, and I just think that's so ridiculous. So I didn't want to film this recap on Friday because I was like, it won't be an honest recap. It will be me being miserable and not truly, I don't know, expressing how well this block has actually gone. Like, I needed more time to reflect before I filmed this. But I wanted to be honest about the fact that still now, I'm not actually that happy with what I lifted on that session, and I just don't get it. I think, to be honest, it's a little bit of self-sabotage. Every time I get near a comp, and I've said in the past, like, this is the most confident I've felt going into a comp and this close to a comp. Normally by this point, my lift's already starting to suffer and I'm kind of just like crumbling mentally a little bit. And that doesn't seem to be happening this time, but I think the way I felt emotionally about this session was my brain trying to like start that self-sabotage cycle. But I do feel like I've pulled myself out of it massively because I've reminded myself that even though I obviously am competitive and I want to place as high as possible in this competition, I don't want to go all the way to South Africa and not even come back with a medal. Like, I intend to push myself and do well at this competition, but I also have another competition 6 weeks after where I still want to progress my total. Like, whatever I hit in South Africa, I want to at least total 2.5 kilos more at the British. I'm kind of setting that as a mini goal. Even if it's just 2.5 kilos more, it doesn't matter. I don't care how it's spread across the lifts. I would like to out-total myself 6 weeks after, even if it's just by 2.5 kilos. So the plan in South Africa is really to go 9 for 9 and just listen to my body and take exactly what is there on the day and what I need. It's not to go all out and hit these huge, huge numbers. Like, yes, the numbers should be big anyway. Like, my lifts are way ahead of where they were going into my last comp. And at my last comp, I underperformed massively. So if I just perform pretty well at this comp and I feel decent, then I should have a really good day. And that's the goal. Like, the goal is to have fun. I actually just put a post up on my Instagram, and it was gonna be just a post. It was literally a post of the English singlet, and then it was pictures of me smiling from comps I've done in the past. Bearing in mind, I have been competing since 2018. I found hardly any photos of me smiling at competition. And I am quite a smiley person, especially when it's like candid shots, because normally I'm just talking throughout the whole day and I'm happy. But the fact that I've been competing this long and I've got hardly any photos of me smiling at competitions is actually so sad. And the goal in South Africa is to have fun. It's to approach the competition with low pressure, because I perform better when I don't put pressure on myself. It is to have fun and it is to enjoy it. And I've really needed to remind myself of that over the weekend. And yesterday, Sunday, I was actually reffing at a comp all day and I had a lovely time, and it just reminded me how the sport is supposed to be fun. And so I'm really trying to channel that now into this block, into comp. Like, I'm starting my comp block today, but obviously I'll do a separate video for this session I'm doing today and stuff. But yeah, so let's recap the actual session, because I've been really hard on myself and it's stupid and I don't need to be. So firstly, warm-ups on squat did not feel fantastic. My last one was at 175. I did put my belt on for that just for the confidence boost and it moved really well. It didn't feel fantastic. My warm-up at 160 before that also didn't feel fantastic, but I knew I could do it. I didn't feel weak necessarily. My body just didn't feel fully fresh, but it definitely felt better than it did at the end of last block because I moved my deadlift days back this block. So moving my primary deadlift to my main squat and bench session, the Thursday session that I'm obviously recapping now, massively helped. My back didn't feel anywhere near as fatigued. I do think I sort of screwed myself over by spending the Saturday and Sunday before this week of training painting the house and moving all the home gym kit and everything, and just like my back wasn't fully recovered for the whole week 4. So again, that's another factor that I need to remember when I'm thinking about how I wasn't happy with this session. It's like the circumstances of this entire block, including that final week, were absolutely far from perfect. So anyway, warm-ups didn't feel fantastic, but I was going to load it regardless. So I loaded 187.5. I had the support there that I needed, and it was hilarious. The music cut out. Like before I squatted, Lewis, who I was training with, asked me what song I wanted on or if I wanted a specific song on. And I was like, honestly, just play anything. Like, I'm really not fussy. When I've got the bar on my back, I don't really pay attention to what's playing anyway. Obviously jinxed it because he put a playlist on. It started as I was then like getting ready to go under the bar. And as soon as I unracked it, the music just cut off. And obviously I noticed that it was silent. They were obviously like cheering me on or whatever else, but it was just silent. And because there was only 3 people other than myself in the room, it was fairly quiet. I did my set, and as soon as I went to re-rack it, the music came back on, obviously, which is why we all just laughed after. But yeah, so I squatted 187 for a double. I've never loaded 187 before. I've not even tried it for a single before, and I squatted it for a double. And in the past, I am not good at doubles. Doubles tend to be my worst rep range. Like I don't know, something about only doing 2 reps just feels really odd to me. And so that was another factor that came into me being nervous going into this whole block. But I just squatted a new 1 rep max for a double, and I'm annoyed about it, and I'm aware of how ridiculous that sounds. So also that considering the first rep was so quick as well, like when I get to singles, well, I'm now starting singles as of today, I know for a fact they're going to go well, and I need to just enjoy this and trust my body. I've squatted enough reps in my lifetime to know that I can nail a single. So yeah, 187 double. Back offs were also a volume PB, 4x4 at 162. I didn't even get a spot for any of the sets. I was confident going in. I did definitely notice that my legs and everything were a little bit fatigued when I was doing them. Just like my positioning on them didn't quite feel as fluid. My back felt like it was doing a bit more work than normal, but they were still really comfortable. It was just something that I noticed in my body and my movement pattern, but that's kind of normal when you're under fatigue. And I knew my back was, well, my whole body was fatigued anyway, so I'm not too upset about that. It's just, yeah, a 4x4 at 162 PB. I can't complain. Like, I should be super happy with how squats went that session. Then moving on to bench. So I used the soft Alico pad, which is the new one, which I would hope that we'll be using at Commonwealth. I do definitely prefer that pad to the harder, like, previous Alico pad that we were using. Bench didn't go great, so I did 102. The plan was to go 112 plus, basically, with commands though. So 102.5, I got commands, moved up, well, it wasn't super easy, but it moved fine, as 102.5 should. Then I jumped to 107, and my unrack was really difficult. Like, I just couldn't get in a good position to unrack. So firstly, my unrack felt awful, and then I just stopped pressing halfway up. Like, I don't even know what happened, but I did it, and I didn't feel tired after. I was just like, what is wrong with me? So I decided to just load 112, and I actually said, I was like, look, I'm gonna load 112. If I get pinned, we just won't talk about it again. But I got commands on 112. I also got an unrack on 112, like a lift off from someone on 112. And I think that's what I'm gonna have to do at competition, because my unrack has definitely been a little bit shaky lately. I mean, I will be benching on a combo rack at home this block for one of my days, so I'll get a bit more practice with self unrack on a combo. But yeah, I think at comp I'm gonna just get like someone, like the spotter, to guide the bar out, not necessarily take much of the weight, but just guide it out with me, just to save a little bit of energy there. But the 112, I got commands. My positioning didn't feel fantastic at all, and I still got it. I think my butt probably came up a smidge, but I know I can work on that. And to be honest, again, I knew my back was quite fatigued from squats. from how I felt on squats. I think it was fatigued from earlier in the week. And I do find it hard to keep my my bum totally flat on the bench when I've got a bit of fatigued back, especially knowing I had deadlifts after. I was a little bit conscious of overarching my back, just because sometimes that can then irritate my lower back, which obviously I didn't want going into deadlifts. So bench I'm actually not bad about. The fact that I had the confidence to load 112 and I still got it. Sinking, press command with sinking, it's the first time I've had a press command since I've been sinking on bench. And actually I found it a lot easier to wait for that press command. Like the anticipation of waiting for them to say press didn't feel anywhere near as horrible as it does with soft touch. Like I didn't feel like I was losing positioning or anything, or I didn't feel like waiting for that press command was really draining me of much energy, which is a massive plus. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to try sinking. So I am very happy with that, and I'm confident that with more practice of bench on a combo rack this block, I should be comfortable benching, hopefully minimum of 110 at comp. I'm going to line myself up probably for just 110 to 112. I'm not going to overreach. I don't care if I bench 112 and it's like an RP 7. Fantastic if it is. It means that I can just load up more at British 6 weeks after. Like, I need to be sensible at Commonwealth because I don't want to overdo it and just RP 10 all 3 lifts and then have 6 weeks to then get fresh and recovered for British. Like, I want to do well at both comps, and I don't want to say I'm prioritising British because I actually realistically probably have a better chance of placing higher at Commonwealth than I do at British this year, but I still want to do better at British. Like, to me, I do think that is the more important of the two. Although my prep into it won't be perfect because it'll be a 6-week prep rather than my typical 4-week blocks, but I kind of want the challenge of performing without perfect leading into it. Like, I want the challenge of things not lining up perfectly to prove to myself that things don't have to be perfect to go well, which was literally the mindset behind this entire block. This block has been absolute shambles in terms of my life outside of training and my schedule and fitting in sessions, my food, everything. Like, this block has been shambles and I still performed as I needed to, apart from on deadlifts. So deadlifts, I'm going to be honest, this is probably TMI for some people watching. I have had a big issue with peeing when lifting recently. I say a big issue, it's not that big of an issue, but especially, so if you've watched my last video, you will know that for my 177.5 set of 4 on squats, I actually peed on the floor. Like, pee literally came out and went on the floor, which has like happened to me maybe once in my life. It doesn't happen very often. Sometimes there's a little bit, but I always wear a pad and it catches it, so it's not a problem. But I was very conscious that obviously I didn't want that to happen in a bright red singlet because it would be very clear if I had peed myself. Again, I had a pad in, but that doesn't always save you, you know? So I was a little bit worried about that going into deadlifts, and I think I let that mess with my head. So I went to do, I was supposed to do 3x3, at least one set at 175, but obviously I would like to have done all 3 sets at 175. So I went to do my first set and I did 1 rep and I just couldn't keep hold of the bar for my second. Now, I did tie up my legs myself, which was a bit silly because someone did offer to do it for me. But I always tie up my legs myself at home, so I was like, oh no, I'll be fine. But yeah, I literally took like 2 seconds to just re-chalk, get back to the bar and did a double. So it was literally like 30 seconds between my first and second rep. I called it at 2 reps and decided I'm not going to do triples, I'm not going to overreach this. I'm going to still get like the weight in, I'm just going to do 4x2 rather than 3x3. It will be fine. And actually I did 4x2 at 175 and they felt fine. And as the sets went on, I actually made a note on my phone of things I need to remember to cue on the day, because when it gets to actual comp day, I kind of just forget what I'm doing, going into this one, I'm going to just keep reminding myself, you do this all the time. You do this all the time. It's no different to training. But with deadlifts, one thing I have to remember to cue is to really push through my legs, stay on my quads, because then my grip holds up better, my positioning doesn't drop. Like, the really funny thing is, which isn't actually a bad thing, is when my grip goes, I don't think it's a grip strength issue. I think it's actually a positioning issue. And that is common, like that isn't unheard of by any means, but it's never the first rep. Like if I do a single, it's very rare that with a single I feel like I'm going to drop the bar unless I mess up my positioning. But it's normally the second, third rep of a set that I do feel like my grip is going to go, and it's because I can't mimic the positioning from my first rep on my whole set. So I do think, I don't know if I'll do it this block or if I'll wait until after these comps are done. I'm going to work on doing resets reps because I don't particularly like reset reps when I've done them in the past, but I think just drilling in that same technique over and over and over again. I probably will do it this block, to be honest. I can't remember what my deadlift schedule is like for this next block, but I've written everything down. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, I did 4x2 at 175, which I can't actually be mad at. Like, it's fine. It moved fine. The first rep on every single set was so quick and easy. It was just the second rep. Again, positioning wasn't fantastic, any of them. So yeah, it is what it is. It's fine. I am confident that deadlifts will turn up for comp, because deadlifts are the lift that always, like, it is a known thing that deadlifts are my worst of the 3 lifts. I try not to say that out loud too often, because I do feel like self-fulfilling prophecy is 100% a thing, and I need to start giving deadlifts the love that I give squats and bench, and then they will progress better. But I do also think my deadlifts are progressing. I've been doing a lot of heavy volume since my last comp, which I know pays off when it then gets to comp block. I'm now going to be doing, normally I would have probably brought singles in a little bit earlier, or maybe like top set back off system. But the reason I didn't do that is because I know that there's only like a limited time that that's kind of worked for me in the past. And because I'm going to be doing 2 comps back to back, I'm essentially going to go into this first comp almost like priming myself for the second comp, if that makes any sense how I describe that. So anyway, my point was, I'm not going into singles on deadlifts. I'm going to top set back off sets, and I know for a fact that singles will be absolutely fine. I don't get nervous for deadlift singles anymore. I used to, but not anymore. I get nervous for rep work on deadlifts, and I know that singles will have the payoff that I want. I pulled 190 at my last comp because I messed, and I couldn't pull more because I messed up my positioning on my second, and it just took so much energy out of me. I know for a fact that if I nail my positioning on comp day, which I'm going to do, I will be able to pull, I don't even know, I'm not going to say numbers on deadlifts because I feel like that'd be revealing all of my tricks up my sleeve. But essentially, I know I'm going to be fine. Like, I know I'm going to be fine. And I know deadlifts are going to start turning up now. So yeah, it's fine. I'm trying to, I don't know, just focus on the fact that I know what I'm doing. I'm the strongest I have ever been. My progress into All Englands was fantastic. I didn't display that on the platform. My progress since All Englands has been an entire another level, and I am going to display it on the platform this time. So yeah, I don't think I've got too much else to say, to be honest. I'm just trying to be hideously positive going into this final block into comp, and yeah, I just think I need to remember why I do this sport. Like, I want to be as good as I possibly can be. I want to be one of the best. I want to be competitive. And I'm not there yet, and I'm very aware I'm not there yet, but I need to remember I need to enjoy the journey to getting there. Otherwise, what's the point? And I think I've kind of lost that over the last week, but I feel like I'm getting it back. And I am excited to just have a competition that I enjoy, and that is the goal going into this comp. I'm also very excited because today I get to train in the home gym, but that'll be in the next video. I don't think I've really got anything else to say. I think I'm feeling good. I'm trying to just remember that this sport is, I mean, I love training. I don't want to say I need to remember this sport is fun, because I actually love this sport. The only part I haven't been enjoying is competing. And I only had that revelation this morning, but I know I will enjoy this comp. I'm excited. I'm feeling good. I am trying to just enjoy the fact that I've just squatted 187.5 for 2. I've benched 112 with commands. I've pulled 4x2 at 175, which isn't a P, I don't think it's a volume PB, but it's probably not far off. And again, I was fatigued going into that as well. Like, I'd done my really heavy squats. So I am feeling good. I am feeling confident, and I am very excited to really push into this comp now and kind of show all of the work that I've been putting in. Body weight as well is in a really good spot. So I fluctuated a little bit last week, back up to like low to mid 86s. That's because I went out for like a leaving dinner for one of my friends this morning. So bearing in mind, yesterday I was at a comp and I didn't actually really track yesterday. Like, I couldn't particularly track. Like, I could have roughly tracked, but how many times can I say tracked in one sentence? Yeah, I didn't like fully accurately track yesterday. I probably went over by 200 to 300 calories based on my estimations. But I was 85.9 this morning, and I feel like that's probably going to be even lighter in the next couple of days. So I am in a good spot body weight wise. I think I would like to sit about 85 when I leave. I think that would be ideal, but I'm not going to force it. I said all along, whatever I weigh at the beginning of my next block is what I'm going to weigh when I fly out there. So I don't really want to lose too much weight. I think I will probably just lose a little bit anyway, just from the fact of like peaking. I say peak, I'm not fully peak, like, I am obviously peaking into this comp in terms of I've lined my blocks up to be as strong as possible at the end of this, but volume and things are still going to be pretty high going into this comp. I'm then going to probably drop them a little bit going into British to really essentially peak mostly for British. But I actually think I'll perform better doing that. I always feel like when I drop off too much volume or anything, then actually my lifts tend to suffer, which is why I'm basically just going to follow my exact same block structure into this comp for squats and bench. Deadlifts, I am going to obviously add in a top single, but I'm excited. I'm going to stop talking. I don't even know if I've covered everything I wanted to in this little recap. I was going to do a full-on recap of the entire block, but just because I had so many like negative feelings at the end of last week, I have decided not to do that. Also because I don't really have time now, because I want to get this video up in decent time. I've also got other things that I'm working on that I think I mentioned in the first clip of this video, that I am now about to get loads of stuff done for before I train and then head to my parents for a couple of hours this evening. So yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you if you've made it to the end. That was my last heavy session until Commonwealth. Bit exciting. I feel like actually saying that couldn't have gone any better. Like, yes, deadlifts could have probably gone a little bit better, but I have nothing to be upset about. I am way ahead of where I thought I was going to be at this point in prep when I first wrote out these blocks into Commonwealth. This is not where I expected my top double on squats to be. I think I planned for it to be roughly 180, but things have obviously been moving so incredibly well every block that I've pushed it up to 187. That's a big increase based on what I thought I was going to be at this point in my training. So very excited to continue this progress. I see no signs of it slowing down, and I am going to put up a good total. Well, a big total PB. I still probably won't class it as a good total until it starts with a 6, but it's going to be a very good rate of progression. And like, I've been in this sport since 2018. My progress is the quickest it's ever been right now, and I'm going to continue riding that wave. I see no sign of it stopping. I am hungrier than ever to do really well, and I'm excited to do really well. And yeah, but yeah, I'm going to end the video here. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, please comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in a couple of days for the first session of my comp prep block.
So let's move on. It's alright, so let's move on. It's alright, so let's move on. It's alright, so let's move on.